Hey everyone, Heidi here. How are you? I'm doing fabulous. I just got back from a walk with my beloved husband and my puppy, and I had an idea. So I come and share them with you because I find that this is really helpful information. So on our walks, Thaddeus and I we're both Sagittarians, so we're both like bouncing ideas, and we're always like on this quest for higher knowledge. And if you're a Sagittarian, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I was telling him sharing some information about how, let's make sure my microphone, oh, no. Over. Mic in the wrong place. All right, so I don't really like how that looks. It looks phallic or something. I don't know. So Thaddeus and I are on a walk today, and we just started sharing ideas. It started flowing, and I was sharing with him this content that I've been learning from one of my most beloved mentors named Bob Proctor. If you don't know who Bob Proctor is, then get with it. I'm just kidding. No, you can look up. He's got a ton of videos, Proctor Gallagher Institute, and I'm a huge fan. Anyway, so in this video, I'm going to share with you two things that are really short, like quick shortcuts that when you're in a low vibration, these two ways, these two modalities can really get you back into higher vibration. And here's how it works. So Bob was talking today about how when you're in a high vibration, things just work out for you, right? Like there's a mantra. I teach this to my son, and I learned it from Bob. I'm sure he learned it from Earl Nightingale and like all the OG like frequency people. And it's things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. So when you keep repeating that, and then you start to believe that, even if you don't even believe it, and you start repeating that, that little mantra can be a really quick go-to for you. Like, oh, I need to switch my vibration, because we don't attract anything good from a low or negative vibration. We've all been there, right? When you're in this negative hypnotic spinning, then you're like, oh, this thing. But unless you're aware and you take a step back and you're like, hold on, that's not what I want my thoughts to be. And I've been practicing this and doing this more and more and more. I find that when I get caught in those hypnotic spirals, it's when I'm cleaning or when I'm like doing dishes and I'm like picking up after people in my house, which I don't prefer to do. So my little trick is that I will go, oh, everything's always working out for me. Or Bob just taught me this on a video, and he said, find 3 or 4 songs that you can just grab off the top of your head and start singing that. And I was like, oh, it just seems like too easy, right? Like maybe it's just too easy. But how effective can that be is amazing. So one of the songs that he prefers, that his go-to, is I Can See Clearly Now, The Rain Is Gone. And if you're younger folks and you don't know that song, it's just a good one to know, have in your repertoire. So if I need something that I'm just like walking down the street and I'm in a negative loop or I'm cleaning, I'm like, quick switch over. Like I don't need to be in that spiral. I want to be over here. So I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. I love that song. So, right. And so Bob was saying, like, just the frequency and the vibration of just singing even those 2 lyrics, like I can see clearly now, right? Like the awareness is upon me and it's switching. So another technique that I've picked up along the way, and this was something I learned in my leadership program, like let's say you're not just in a hypnotic spiral, but you're actually in like a pretty bad place, right? Like you're, I don't know, something happened and somebody owes you money, or there's something really negative that happens in your life. And you're in this super negative, like, oh, I'm super pissed off about this thing. Yesterday, we actually have an example of that. We had a freezer go out and we lost a bunch of food, and my husband was quite upset about that. And we were driving in the car later that day, and he was still kind of stewing about it. And I love bringing up intimate examples. He's okay with that. I'm teasing him because he's sitting over there. Thaddeus, is it okay if I share about you? Oh, good. He said, yeah. Anyway, he was kind of stewing about it. And I was like, but what are you going to do about it? Right. And I mean, I'm going to like take the screws to him, but like, honestly, like it's already done. Like, let's move on. And so that's one of the things Bob teaches is like, you don't sit in the past, you don't, whatever. And we all do it. Like, I'm guilty of it. It's easier to see, right? Especially when you're a coach, you can see it in other people like more readily, but can I see it myself? No, that's why like in our partnership, he'll point it out for me. Right. So anyway, so this woman, I was in the leadership program and she taught this methodology, which I thought was really a really cool technique. So that when you're in that negative vibe and you're like, I just want to feel it, right? Because you don't push it back down and you want to acknowledge it. And you're also like, you have these emotions and these feelings coming up. You don't want to ignore them either or bypass them in any way. Like, just let them out, right? Like, it's like, I'm feeling this right now. And so when you're feeling that thing, that emotion, that whatever, like you're still separate from that. You're above that. You're, like you're not that feeling. You're separate from it. So first of all, just even acknowledging that, right? But it's coming up in you. So we'll acknowledge it and be like, okay, I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling pissed off. I'm feeling sadness about this thing. And she said, find a song that just meets you where you're at. And I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. I actually used this technique probably a week or two ago. And I was like, I was in a really bad place and I went for a drive and I was like, I remembered what she had said. And she said, find a song that meets you where you're at. And I was like, ooh, what's a song that meets me where I'm at? So I love working with the universe. I love and I love synchronicities. So I went to my Apple playlist and there's a playlist that I have from when I used to work in the shop and I just went shuffle and I just let whatever the universe pick the song and it met me where I was at. I was like, oh yeah, shocking. And I was like, okay. So I'm like in the car, I'm like, like crying and doing whatever I had to do. Comes my little puppy. And I was like, okay, it's where I'm at. And then, another song or two actually came on after that. And it took me longer than just one song. And then she said, the second step is to play something that's just a little bit elevated from that song. So then I was like, okay. And I looked at my playlist and I hit shuffle again. And another song came on and it was definitely above like where I was from those moments. And I was like, then I started to get kind of mad and I was like, and I don't know, some goofy song, probably from my like angry youth past. I love my eclectic music mix is everything from like super sappy, crazy Adele stuff to like grunge rock to Beethoven to, I mean, this is all over the board. It's like super eclectic. And so it comes on with something, I don't know, just a little more vibey. And then I was like, oh, there's a song. So like I was getting myself out of it. I was actually driving around. I ended up in my old neighborhood where I grew up. It was super weird. And I was like, I actually picked the song and I was like, I want to listen to George Michael. And I love George Michael and his song, Let's Go Outside. I love that song. So I'm always like, every time I feel that song, I can feel the emotions like moving through me. And I have these really beautiful memories of spending time in Los Angeles when I was quite young with one of my best friends. And those memories just like instantly put me in like a super high vibe. So by the time I got home, this whole escapade was like probably about an hour and a half. I just went for a drive. I actually kind of got lost. I didn't care. I was like, this was super fun. I love doing stuff like that. It's kind of spontaneous and nobody knows where I'm at. I kind of like that too. And just because like I don't like being leashed to my phone and devices and like all that stuff. So I put my phone on airplane and, I knew where I was, but I still was like, I'm not familiar with these roads. And it was weird because I ended up just looping back, which was kind of crazy. Anyway, we can psychoanalyze that another day. But my whole point of this is that like you can really use music and these different methodologies of music to help raise your vibe. And so Bob was saying, you guys, like having 3 or 4 songs right off the top of your head, just like boom. These are 3 to 4 songs that I can just go to, like say I start getting pissed off that the kids aren't helping in the house. And I'm like, why am I sitting here getting pissed off about it? Like, I'm not going to replay that in my head. Like, that's not doing me any good, right? Like, that is not helping me create my future and manifest the things that I want. So I'm like, okay, so I actually use Bob's song. If I'm just like at a kind of a loss in the moment, I'm just like, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. So I start singing that in my head. And then I'm like, all obstacles in my way, right? Like move them out of the way. And I literally take and envision clouds parting and like sunshine coming in, even if it's cold, even if it's rainy, whatever. Like this is inside work, right? This is the inner work. So my question for you guys is, how many songs do you have off the top of your head, and what are they? Like, I want you to help me build a little list together. So I would love for you to offer up at least 1 to 2 songs and share them with me. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, and a plethora of ideas that I can't wait to see. My song is that I'm offering up is George Michael, Let's Go Outside, because in the sunshine, blah, blah. And I love George Michael, and I just went through that, all that. So another one. So I went through Bob's song, went through my song. So my daughter loves music, and her song that she played for me the other day was Katrina and the Waves. I love Katrina and the Waves, like back in the 80s. And she loves all these 80s songs. It's really kind of weird. And it was Walking on Sunshine. And like, what a great vibey song, right? I'm like, oh my God, like this is such an incredible song. So we're playing it in the car and we're both just like jamming. We're walking on sunshine. Oh, I mean, right? So now I'm actually going to add that to my repertoire. So I can see clearly now the George Michael song and then the Walking on Sunshine. Those are my 3. And I'm going to really put them and store them, right? And I'm going to go over that list in my mind actually as well a few times. So a couple other songs that I was just doing a little bit of research, and it says that the happiest song in the world, the song that makes people the happiest in the world, get this, I shit you not, it is the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations. And I actually went and looked at the lyrics of it. It's the most simple song. And then they said that there's a study that shows that if you do this chorus and then repeat something, I don't know, it's some musical language I don't really understand. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to take the time to explain it. That they do this repetition thing, and like, what is it? Something elation, and then I'm picking up good vibrations, whatever. But the whole song, I didn't really know that it was about how women make them feel good. It's like, oh, it's all about love. Of course it is, because love is the highest vibration. So all right, and then from there I was like, what about that other song by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch that I grew up with called Good Vibrations? So I went and looked at that one. I love that song, so I might add that to my repertoire too. And actually went and read the lyrics of that song, and they're like really anti-drugs. They're like, it was actually kind of cool. Some of the things that they're putting out in that song during the time, but that was like, the war on drugs era. All right, excuse me. And then a couple other songs that I spun off from there was Jump Around. I love that song. Jump, jump, jump. I used to like kind of be a party girl and jump around to that song. You do. Already. And then Crisscross will make you, Daddy Mac will make you jump. Any of those jumpy songs, right? Like boom, boom. Bouncing on the trampoline is the Black Eyed Peas, I Got a Feeling. So I got a feeling, ooh, that tonight's that one. So I'm not going to sit here and sing anymore for you guys. That's not what this video is about. But yeah, so these are my 3 sacred secret ways to raise your vibration. I asked Thaddeus, I kind of come full circle. So on our walk this morning, we were sharing ideas and I was telling him about the music. And then I said, what do you do? And he's like, well, I don't really listen to music. It's true. Like when I first met the man, he's outside. He likes to work out outside in the summer and spring, fall, where we live. And sometimes into the winter, he's kind of a crazy person. And he's like listening to Tibetan monks chanting. And I was like, you're the weirdest dude I've ever met. Like, who listens to Tibetan monks chanting when you're like, he's like out there pumping iron and throwing kettlebells around and like being a crazy person. I was like, oh my God, it's so funny. And so I asked him on our walk, I said, babe, what do you do? And he said, I'll do Breath of Fire. And I was like, oh, yeah. So let's do Breath of Fire. We're going to do 1 minute together. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. Super easy technique. you take your fingers. As a certified Kundalini instructor, like breath of fire is like the number one thing that I teach besides the root lock. And that's like a different breath. I'll talk about that in another video, but you take your pinkies, you cross them, you pull your thumbs up, your arms straight, and then you lower your hands kind of like in this heart solar plexus-y area, like that technical term, heart solar plexus-y. Okay. And so you're going to be pulling. This is not a passive thing either. So you're actually pulling, and you're going to be taking short, quick out breaths. So it goes. See how my shoulders aren't going anywhere? It's just in my belly. So we're just going to go from the belly. Okay. And we're going to do 1 minute. So thumbs up, arms out. And in Kundalini yoga, and when we do this exercise, it's really important that you close down the eyes. We go further within, smile on the heart, smile on the face. You can do that little Buddha smile. And here we go. 1 minute. Let's go. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Just relax. So you can also look at variation. You can look at the tip of your nose while you're doing that. So you're kind of looking like this. It's actually putting pressure on the pituitary gland and then the pineal. So stimulating all these other glands in our head. So there's a lot that can happen. I actually was feeling the heat rising in my body, hence the breath of fire, right? So that's an energizing. That's it clears and purifies one side of your adrenals, and it's for energizing the body. So if you ever need just a little pick me up, like all it takes is 1 minute, do this, and you're good to go. So I hope this video has been helpful, and let's all go out and commit random acts of kindness today. You're shining your light so bright that people can't help but notice, right? They can't help but notice. And it's interesting because some people will be like, whoa, what's your vibration? Like, what are you on? And like, why are you so? And I'm just high all the time. Right. And I don't need drugs and alcohol to like do that for me. Other people, they see me and they see me shining my light and they're like, whoa, too bright, can't be around that person. Actually happened today. I saw a couple of people walking down the street and I was just like, hey, and they're like, and they just like kept walking. I was like, whoa, okay. Whew, let's go. I'm going to stay in my vibe, right? Like I'm going to keep my frame. So you guys will hear me talk about that. Staying in your frame is something I learned from another teacher of mine, Erin Doughty, and the candle meditation helps you like really keep and stay in your frame so that you keep your vibration high despite what comes before you, right? That's Wayne Dyer. Like, I will not change despite what comes before me. So when I walk into the room, my goal is to raise the vibration, shine my light, right? Like who else here am I vibey with? So same thing within my house, like showing up and being awesome to my kids, right? Like that is easy. It doesn't have to be hard. I don't have to go do all this stuff. So that's another video. But I hope you guys had some good takeaways from this video, and let me know your songs. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And thanks for being here. Hit the subscribe button and come back to the Frequency Boutique whenever you need a little pick me up. Stay tuned and I'll see you later.